All right, let's talk about eXp Realty team types. There's 4 basic ones, and then there's a 5th bonus one we're going to talk about. Let's dive right in. My name is Randy Wouters with Build You. Okay, so the objective today, we're going to be talking about similarities, differences, long-term versus short-term benefits of each team types, plus one alternative team type we'll cover at the end. The first team type we want to talk about is called the self-organized team. And listen, this is actually my favorite team type. I love helping team leaders start a self-organized team. Just because there's no production minimum requirements doesn't mean it's the worst team type. There's actually a lot of creativity, innovation, and freedom in the self-organized team setup. First off, there's no geographic restrictions in the US or Canada. There's no minimum production, and there's no minimum split to the team leader. You can charge whatever you want to charge. Everyone has their own $16,000 cap, which means they can all qualify for the $400 stock award when they reach their cap, and also have a chance to reach the Icon Award on their own. There's no internal team agreement on file with eXp. They do request one, but really you just need to have an external team agreement between you and your team member. Branding is identified by the state laws and regulations, but typically, if you're on a team, you should brand as a team. So you wouldn't want a bunch of single agents sort of branding on their own if they're on your self-organized team. Okay, they have to use the team branding. And one of the most flexible parts about this is that you can change the terms whenever you feel like changing the terms, as long as you get your team member to agree and you guys both mutually agree and sign your new team agreement. Okay, let's move on to number 2, standard team. Standard team has a few requirements. First off, you have to have a production requirement of at least 6 million or 30 units aggregate, which means you and your team members, as long as it totals up to either 6 million or 30 units, then you can qualify as a standard team, which is not too difficult considering most single agents can meet the requirements by themselves. There's no geographic restrictions with this within the US and Canada, as long as you're following the state guidelines. There's a handful of states that don't allow you to run a team in a state that you're not also licensed in. So a few states, like I know for sure, Louisiana, Washington, and Oregon, you have to actually get licensed in those states to run a team in those states. Now, some of the benefits are the team members are going to have an $8,000 cap, which is really cool to recruit to because no longer are they paying the $16,000 cap. Now they're paying half. So because of that half cap, you have to charge a minimum split of 25%. They cannot go for the Icon Award unless they opt in for the full cap elective and actually opt in to pay a full $16,000 cap. All right, so eXp does regulate the standard team, which means they do require an internal team agreement, which means between eXp and the team leader and eXp and the team member. So that does exist. That does not replace the external team agreement between you and the team member. That should still be on file and on record for yourself. And as far as branding, it's pretty much the same as all state laws and regulations. Most states do require team members to brand as the team. Whatever printed, digital, whatever materials there are for marketing, they need to be branded as the team. Number 3 is the Mega Icon team, MIT for short. So here are some of the highlights about the MIT. The production requirement is 40 million and 175 units and 10 team members at minimum. Okay, it's not or, it's and, but it can be an aggregate total of all those team members. Generally speaking, we see Mega Icon teams have more than 10 team members. And the reason is there's a caveat to this team type. You have to reach a minimum company dollar paid in of $56,000. And why $56,000? Because $16,000 paid in by the team leader and $4,000 times 10 agents, that's $40,000. $40,000 plus 16 is $56,000. Now, an easier way to reach that $56,000 is to have more than 10 team members. And what I mean by that is if you have 20 team members, each one of them pays $2,000 or something like that, right? That's going to equal the $40,000. You can actually get there a lot faster by having more team members. Okay, 20, 30, 50 is pretty common for a Mega Icon team. Now, they are going to enjoy that $4,000 cap though. Instead of a 16 or instead of an 8, they have a quarter cap or $4,000. Now, they can't enjoy the $400 stock award or the Icon Award unless they opt in for the full $16,000 full cap elective. That is an option that they can do if they're a really high producer and they still want to join your team. They might also get their own Icon Award. Now, for you, the team leader, remember that we talked about you have to pay in a company dollar minimum of $56,000. Well, what happens if you don't? You actually have to pay the difference. So whatever you fall short of comes out of your paycheck. You've got to write them a check, and you still lose the designation for the following year of a mega icon team. So you don't get the icon award, and you have to pay in, and you lose the designation for the following year. So it's kind of a bummer if you don't hit the 56K minimum. So make sure that you have the production requirements to meet it, not just on the line, but over. So I would absolutely grab a few more new agents if you're right at that line of 10 agents and not sure if you can meet the $40,000 with the agent pay-in. Branding is still going to be team branding. Again, local laws, regulations. Remember that local laws and regulations don't care what team type you are, just that you are a team. So just like the other two team types, if you're calling yourself a team, you have to brand as a team. All digital, all printed materials, social media, everything has to be branded with the team. There's a few perks. You're going to have a designated TSS, which is a transaction settlement specialist. Okay, that's not the same as a TC. They're not on the front end doing your TC work, but they're just making sure that you've got a one-stop shop and you know who to go to in order to get any transactions settled and have any problems with. You can go to that one person to get them solved. You're also going to get a dedicated SkySlope office. That's going to allow you, the team leader, a lot more visibility into the back office of SkySlope to know who's doing what and closing what and pendings and all that stuff. Domestic teams are number 4 on the list. What is a domestic team? Well, in order to qualify to be a domestic team, you have to file jointly on taxes or be legally married according to your state's laws. So a domestic team can run another team, but can't be members of another team. And the reason is because you already share one $16,000 cap. So it wouldn't quite be fair if you had a shared $4,000 or $8,000 cap. But because of that, you also share in the icon requirements and production minimums. So if you're going to reach icon, you can do that together. You have a chance to do the cultural requirements together or individually, and also the event attendance. Okay, so on a domestic team, you're going to have one primary and one secondary, and you're going to share one anniversary date and one cap reset date. You're going to share one SkySlope and one KV Core. The secondary does have a discount on their monthly fee. Instead of $85, it's going to be $50 per month. Now you can add another KV Core account. It's $12.99. You're going to have individual tools like Workplace, Enterprise Dashboard, etc. The way that revenue share works with a domestic team, the primary becomes a sponsor if you're going to do agent attraction, and that secondary can't be named as a sponsor. So that primary will carry the revenue share line, unless the secondary already had agents underneath them and then became a domestic team. We have actually seen that before. All right, we have an alternative option. This is sort of the bonus model. This is the referral group. Basically, it's like a self-organized team, except they're not on a team. You don't have a roster. You don't even have team agreements. In fact, all you would need is a master referral agreement. What is a master referral agreement? Well, it's like a referral, but it's good for a whole year. You get people to sign that, and they're on your master referral network for an entire year. Basically, any deal that you send them, they agree to pay you X number of dollars or percentage per deal. There's no minimum production requirements because it's not a real team. There's no geographic restrictions. Again, it's not a real team. There's no minimum splits. You can charge, 100, 0, 0, whatever. You can charge whatever you want. Everyone has the individual solo agent split of a $16,000 cap. Referral agreement does not have to get reported to eXp Realty other than in the file of the SkySlope for the referral. Branding. Since you're not a team, you don't do team branding. You have individual branding. In fact, this is something that's interesting. You can actually have somebody who's on another team in your referral network, and they're just receiving leads from you in the referral group. It's kind of interesting. All right, here's the next part. You're not actually managing a team. You're only managing leads and referrals. And you may want to offer to coach or mentor those agents so that they're more successful, therefore closing more of your own deals. These agents can be in your revenue share group or just great agents locally that you know. It can actually be used a little bit as an attraction tool. If you think about it, you can give somebody leads all year long in hopes that you can sit down and have that conversation to join you in revenue share group. Can you have a referral group and a team? Absolutely. Can you have a mixture of team types? Well, sort of, if you think about it. I could have a mega icon team with agents on a full cap elective and agents in my referral group. That's a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, and there's a lot of flexibility there. I can have agents closing deals all over the country. As long as I can lead generate, I can set it up however I need to. All right, let's go over some important requirements and important notes by eXp. eXp Realty will not intervene in any disputes between team members and team leaders. This is why having a solid, formal team agreement in place from the beginning is crucial for all parties involved. We've seen it all, and we want to help you avoid the expectation versus reality gap. When those don't meet and those don't line up, there's problems, confrontation, dissension, dissatisfaction, and you're going to lose those agents. Our comprehensive team agreement template that we're going to give you in top-notch team agreement course is absolutely the best that you can find as far as clarifying and defining those expectations as a team leader. There's nothing better out there. Here at Build You, we do offer some one-on-one consultations. If you are going to build a team and you're looking at building a team within eXp Realty, no matter how many years experience you have building teams, running a team at other brokerages, it is different here. You're going to want somebody to help you with the nuances of eXp Realty teams. We're going to help you understand the math behind team structures. We're going to help you do SWOT analysis, team agreements and master referral agreements, the operations and systems behind running your team, lead flow models and distribution, utilizing eXp in the best way possible to get the most out of your team. Yes, it's a little different here. There's a lot of freedom. We want to reverse engineer our goals 3, 5, 10 years out and say, how do we get there from right now? A lot of teams try to bring in their round peg to the square hole. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to be way better off consulting with somebody to get the best team structure from the very beginning. There's going to be a lot of freedom in that. Okay, so let us help you innovate. Let us help you get creative and restructure and formulate the best team type for your goals. So which eXp Realty team type is best for me and my team? We're going to answer a few of these questions just to get a gauge on where you are. First is, do you currently have a team? How is it currently structured? It's actually really tough to stick a rudder in the water and steer Titanic. If you've been going a certain way for so long, it's going to be really tough to change it. I'm not saying impossible. I have had retrofit consultations where we mold and overhaul a team. I'm just saying it makes it a lot more tough. Also, have you done a deep dive into the revenue share model and understand the full benefits of being a team leader in terms of revenue share? It is different than a traditional model. There's scalability there that does not exist anywhere else. If you need a deep dive in the revenue share, let us know. The next one is, how long do you plan on being a team leader? 3, 5, 10, 20 years? What are you planning on doing? That does and should weigh in on what team type you should have. The next one is, what is your exit strategy? If you don't have an exit strategy in mind, we need to really sit down and figure out what you're trying to do in order to design your team structure to give you a way out. And the last question is, why are you a team leader in the first place? Is it just to leverage your time? Is it to build a legacy? Are you trying to build leaders? What are you doing and why are you trying to do it? That will determine which team type you pick. All right, so we're pretty much done with the overview of the eXp Realty team types, but I do have an FAQs section that I would love to go over with you because I get these types of questions all the time. So stick around, let's go through a few of these. All right, the first question is, can you mix your team types? Well, that sort of depends. You can't mix a mega icon team with a standard team, but you can mix a standard team with, let's say, some agents that are on a full cap elective, therefore giving you sort of a self-organized / standard team. You can also mix a mega icon team with a self-organized team in that same regard. Those mega icon team agents are opting in for the full cap elective, therefore sort of have a self-organized and a mega icon team going at the same time. You can also add in that referral group to any of the team types. And we talked about domestic teams, how they can run any of the team types. So domestic team can run a self-organized, a standard, or even a mega icon team. So yes, and that's why there's a longer answer. All right, next question. Do satellite team leaders take splits from team members? The answer, unfortunately, is no, unless the team leader wants to add them and give them a percentage. So it's really up to the main leader, not the satellite team leader. Next question. Does a full capping agent on a mega icon team count towards MIT requirements? Remember the 56,000? The answer is no, not the volume, units, or the cap. So it's a little tricky. So you can't just load your mega icon team with tons of full capping electives to reach the 56K earlier. Here's a question we get quite frequently. Will I get help from eXp to transition my team? Yes, you'll get a dedicated team's staff member to help as follows. Each geographic region has a team integration specialist, a TIS, which is a forward-facing eXp staff member, forward-facing, client-facing, not just internal. And they're going to help answer questions and help with some of those details. You're going to get a Teams integration professional, a TIP, times 2, behind-the-scenes contact person for updates and changes within your team. And the team leader admin will have access to a live onboarding roster to monitor team members' status in joining process. Okay, now, unfortunately, eXp will not tell you how to structure your team. Now, you might say, why is that unfortunate? Because sometimes you really just don't know what to pick. And you might need a strategist, somebody to bring onto a consultation and say, hey, this is my scenario, this is what I think, but I really need somebody to just tell me, based on what I'm doing, is this the best team type at eXp Realty? And if you need something like that, absolutely schedule a one-on-one. I'd love to help you out. I've done this hundreds of times with team leaders and broker owners that come over to eXp over the years. All right, that's it. Team types at eXp Realty explained thoroughly. Now, if you want a deeper dive in actual breakdown of commission splits and how that works, happy to jump on a call with you and go through all the details for your specific scenarios. All right, until next time, see you later.